Hi folks, today I'm going to talk about some of the most powerful and best functions in Excel, starting with match and then looking at the index, offset and then XLOOKUP, ways of extracting a number from a list based on some other value. So we're going to start with match. So match works by returning the position of a value within a list. So in this example, we're going to look for 2020 in our years across the top. And for 2020, match is going to return a 4. It's the fourth item in that list. So the way we write that is equals match, look for 2020 within the years. And now the third argument is optional, but it's one of the few times that Excel's default is not very useful. The vast majority of the time when using match, we want an exact match. So that just means if we don't find what we're looking for, it throws an error. If we do find it, it gives us the position. The other two options allow you to look for approximate matches or the nearest match it can find, either above or below the value you're looking for, depending on if it's 1 or -1 in here. We'll just stick with 0. And if I press enter here, there we get our 4. And if we change the drop down, you can see the match number changes accordingly. So now we want to return our sales values for 2020 from these couple of rows here. And we're going to do that with an index. So index can be thought a little bit like the opposite of a match, where match is looking for a value and returning its position. In index, we give it the position and it's going to return the value. So we're looking to index within our sales area and we're asking for the fourth item. So we should be getting the 18 and the 104 when I press Control Enter here. There we go. So index is looking in this range and returning the fourth item. Now offset can often be used to do exactly the same thing as an index. It just works in a slightly different way. Offset starts with a reference cell. Usually a cell can be a range when that's useful. But we're going to start with our reference cell as J16. Now the next two arguments for offset are how many rows and how many columns do we want to move away from the reference cell. So in this example, I'm not interested in going up or down. So the rows is not relevant. Columns, I want to go along to this 2020. I'm going to use my match number of 4. But if I move by 4, I'm going to go too far. We'd move 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'd end up in 2021. So I'm going to move by 4 -1. Now the alternative would be to offset from column I, and then you would want to move by 4 cells. So Control Enter there, and we get exactly the same result. Now XLOOKUP was introduced fairly recently into Excel, and it's a single formula way of doing what we've just done. It combines the idea of the index and the match. So equals XLOOKUP. So the lookup value, I go straight to my 2020. I don't need to use the match number. The lookup array is where am I looking for this 2020? That's along the top. And my return array, where are my answers? And that's in there. So Control Enter, and again we get exactly the same answer. So there we go, 3 ways of doing it. And if I change my drop down now, 2024, I should be getting 18 and 98, which I am. So it's dynamically linked to my drop down, and there's 3 different ways to approach pulling out the value from a particular column. XLOOKUP, really good way of doing it. Falls a little bit short sometimes when you're looking over 2 dimensions. But for this simple one-dimensional index match, a brilliant function to make things a little bit quicker. That's all for today. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon.